Welcome back to TBRD. On today's episode, I'm going to take a look at 5 of the not so obvious features that I love about this 2020 BMW S1000XR. So, let's jump right into this. I'm going to pull over up here to show you this first thing that I think has really just improved my overall experience on this bike, as little as it seems. So let me pull over here. Alright, the first feature that I got is, go ahead and shut this guy off. It's this keyless gas cap. Oop, you notice it won't open? That's because I still have it powered on. I'm going to shut that off. This keyless gas cap, boom, just like that. Why do I like that feature so much? Well, I haven't had it in the past, and I didn't think it was all that amazing, but it's just the convenience. Every time I pull over to get gas, not having to dig through my pants pocket to fish out that key and unlock that gas cap, really, I like it. You know, it's one of those things I don't necessarily need, but boy, I really like it. So that is feature number 1, and you just push it back and lock it. As you can tell from looking at this bike, it is a mess from my Friday commute. It didn't rain, but it was excessively foggy out, so it might as well have been raining. Soaked, and then by the time it dried, it looked like this. So the bike needs a good bath. Alright, I'm going to get this guy fired up, get back up on the road, and we'll get through the rest of this list. Number 2. The second feature that I really like on this bike that might not be so obvious is the self-canceling indicator. So I go ahead and turn that on, the left indicator. When I'm just riding here at 50-60 miles an hour on a straight stretch, it's going to blink. I don't have it timed out. About 10 seconds before it turns itself off, I'll keep an eye. There you go. You see it just turned itself off. That indicator, though, depending on the speed, seems to make adjustments. It turns itself off very quickly on the interstate when I indicate changing lanes and I make a lane change. It'll cancel itself pretty quickly. So in my extensive ride review, I commented on my own nervous habit about constantly doing this, constantly checking to make sure my signals are off, and I wondered if riding this bike for a while would break me of that habit. I will tell you, I haven't quite broken myself of that habit, as you've probably seen on some of my videos, but it's slowed down tremendously. On the flip side, it's created a new habit for me where that indicator at a signal, sometimes I'm worried that my indicator is going to turn itself off. So now I'm double checking to make sure that it's on. So I think that's just a function of my OCD. But I will say 99 out of 100 times, these indicators have pretty much read my mind in terms of turning themselves off, and they've already done so. So I really like that feature. It is a great one. So the self-indicating indicators, another not so obvious feature that I really love about this motorcycle. Alright, we're going to talk about number 3 on my list of not so obvious features that I really like about this bike. And to do that, I'm going to send it back to myself in the garage before I set out on this ride. Alright, number 3 on my list is the under-seat storage on this bike. So if you check where the key is located back here, just give that a turn, the seat pops off. I really do like all the storage. You've got your toolkit here from BMW, but this is what I'm talking about. There's a good bit of storage down here. I've got my owner's manual, insurance, registration, all that good stuff, and I like to keep a roll of Gorilla Tape in here. Use that for a lot of different reasons sometimes when I'm on the road. So this little under-seat storage compartment, that's number 3 for me when it comes to some not so obvious cool features. Our number 4 on the list of features that I absolutely love about this motorcycle is this beautiful Tft Screen. And right now it is a train wreck. It is absolutely filthy. I'm not sure if that's coming through on the video or not, but even when it's filthy, that is a beautiful display. I love this display. Easy to read at nighttime, easy to read in the daytime. As I went over in my last video, it's got an adjustable brightness feature, but just the the TFT and how you can operate it, so simple. It gives you a ton of information. You can program it with the information that you want to see on the heads up on the above the line display. Right now you can see my tire pressure right there. You see that? 34.7, 41.4, running a little bit low, I might add. I can toggle through that by hitting my up switch on the menu. It gives me miles until I'm empty in terms of fuel, fuel gauge, total miles, odometer, trip ticks. You can program what you want up above that line. But I just love the look of that TFT. I love the sports screen. I'll toggle into that now. I've talked about that. I really enjoy that sports screen. So this TFT, just another wonderful feature that I love about this bike. I think it's beautiful, and it's very easy to read and provide you with all the information and then some that you would possibly want. All right, number 5 on my list of top 5 not so obvious features that I love about this bike. I struggled to pick just 5, so I might throw a bonus one in here. But we'll go with number 5. These heated grips, go ahead and turn those on. You'll see it's at a level 3, 2, and 1. I'll leave them at 1 right now. We'll warm up the hands just a little. These heated grips are wonderful. I've talked about it in my bike review. They get really, really hot on the highest setting. I've had an opportunity commuting to work, as I always do. It's finally gotten a little bit chilly in the mornings. Not properly cold just yet, but it did dip down into the 30s on 1 or 2 of my commutes over the past week or so. And, you know, that starts to take a toll on the hands when you're out riding for a half hour or longer. My morning commute's just over a half hour. So having these wonderful heated grips really just makes for a comfortable ride. And BMW gets their heated grips right. There's a real difference between the 3 levels of settings. So if you want to just take the chill off on a brisk but not cold morning, you can do that. And if it's really properly cold, you can turn those things all the way up. Keep your hands, even your thumbs, that are kind of exposed a little bit more warm. So number 5, the heated grips. All right, I said I'd do a couple honorable mentions, and I've struggled a little bit in trying to narrow this down to 5. There's some really obviously big things that I love about this bike that I left off of this list because I wanted it to be a little more nuanced in terms of folks who might be considering buying this bike and some things you might not think about. The obvious things that I think anybody who rides this bike love that I left off are the engine, number 1. It is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Down low, in the middle, up high. It just rips. And so if you're thinking about, hey, it's an inline 4-cylinder engine, I don't know, you know, it's not all that usable, absolute nonsense. It's got plenty of go down low, and when you get into that middle of the upper power band, watch out. It's fantastic. So obviously, anybody who rides this bike loves this engine. So that's one of the more obvious reasons it wasn't on the not so obvious list. The other thing, the quick shifter. The quick shifter is like butter. The thing is just magnificent. I love it. Up, down. It sounds great. Here, we'll hit it down. Yeah, just super smooth. Super smooth. You don't have to be full out on it either. You can, here, kind of slowly going up the RPM. Boom, nice smooth shift. Rolling off, nice smooth. The thing is like butter. Really like that. And I'll tell you where that's especially nice is on those exceptionally cold mornings. When you want to take your hand off, just even to grab the clutch, you lose that warmth almost instantaneously when it's that cold outside. So you can just shift up and down with the quick shifter nice and smoothly and keep your hands on that nice warm heated grip. So those are the 2 really obvious things that I think everybody loves about this bike when they ride it, but that's why they weren't in the top 5, so to speak, but we had to bring them up and mention them. And one more honorable mention that maybe, as I said, isn't that obvious, but is a very nice feature. Love cruise control. I've had it on many of my bikes. Some cruise controls are better than others. I would say in using the one on this BMW, it is fantastic. It is super easy to use. It maintains speed very, very well. The one thing I haven't had an opportunity to test out with it is riding with the cruise control on a really cold day. On my Triumph Trophy SE, I noticed that when it got down below 30 degrees Fahrenheit, the cruise control would not work. It was actually a default because of the sensors. I did some digging and research on that, so I don't know how this one will fare when it gets really, really cold out. I will find out, and I will report back on that. But the cruise control is another really wonderful feature that I enjoy. Alright, that's going to about do it for today's video. Those are my top 5 not so obvious things I really like about this 2020 BMW S1000XR. That's coming from an owner with a little bit over 2,500 miles on the machine so far. Hopefully, if you're interested in this bike, possibly thinking about buying it, this video's shed some light on maybe the not so obvious features that everybody likes to talk about. I also gave you 2 of the more obvious ones in the engine and the butter smooth quick shifter up and down with that bonus one of the heated grips. So if you like this video and you've been checking out some of the content, or this is your first one, please leave me a comment, like, subscribe. Until next time, as I like to say, keep the throttle back, the rubber down, and enjoy the ride.